now. So the next aspect of conscience is when I am not in harmony with my conscience. I am not a good person and do not deserve love and respect when I behave towards others in ways that I would not like them to behave to me. So this is cause for me to look deeply. Obviously, the conscience is there for a specific reason. We want to be aware when we are not behaving in alignment with our higher selves. And we want to be able to correct that. So this is important. But the guilt that we feel, or the shame, or the pain that we feel is there just for us to start this process of change. It is not there for us to identify with the feeling of being unworthy and to hold on to feelings of guilt for years, or even perhaps until we die, maybe even into the next incarnation. So, what do we do when we discover that we have in fact behaved in a way which is not in alignment with our conscience, which is not the way that we would like to behave, and not the way that we would like others to behave to us? The first step is to admit our mistake and ask for forgiveness. Okay, this is the ego doesn't like this. We may not like this, but this is a process of cleansing. It's a process of evolution. By doing this, we are enhancing our evolutionary process. So we admit, yes, I did behave in a way which I do not consider the highest possible behavior, which was not love, and in a way which I would not like you to behave to me. Then, if some damage was done, we seek to correct this damage in any way that we can. We may not be able to. And in such cases, if we cannot correct that damage, we may want to help someone else and correct that damage for someone else, if that makes us feel better. Then we need to analyze and understand the fears, the needs, the beliefs that caused us to behave in this way. What was I feeling? What was I fearing? What was I needing? What was my attachment in that moment which caused me to lie or to become violent or to hurt another person or perhaps even to steal, whatever I may have done? Then we need to discover the new belief that will free us from the old behavior and allow us to behave as we ideally would like to behave. So this is the actual process of evolution. Then you see, we begin now to say, okay, I was believing this, that I was in danger, or that my happiness was in danger, or my freedom was in danger. Now, with this new belief, I realize that I am safe, that I am worthy, and I do not need to behave in this way anymore. And so we determine the new way of behaving in that same situation, and then we imagine ourselves doing so. This becomes a process of reprogramming ourselves to behave differently, more in alignment with our conscience the next time we are in a similar situation when until now we have behaved not in alignment with our conscience. Then we need to realize that we are not the creators of the other's reality, but that life has used us to give them this experience, just as it uses others to give us this experience, and that this experience is a growth experience for them and for us. That they are learning through this, or they have the option, the possibility of learning if they choose it. They can choose not to. They can choose to be angry and unhappy for the rest of their lives, and that's their choice. We do not need to have their forgiveness. We need only to admit our mistake and ask for forgiveness. Once we have done that, the ball is in their hands. And we do not need them to say, yes, I forgive you. We need simply to be humble enough to say, yes, I made a mistake and I'm sorry, and I ask your forgiveness. Then we need to realize that we actually were not the creator of the other person's reality. We have made a mistake. We have not behaved properly, but that's our own issue. That could happen to the other person only because they chose that as a soul in the process of evolution, either because of karma or as a soul choice or because they're attracting it by their way of thinking. And then we need to realize that our essence is divine, pure, and always worthy of love and acceptance. That is who we are. We are divine consciousness in a temporary body and mind. And nothing can change that. There's nothing that we can do that could ever make us unacceptable or unloved by the divine. There's nothing that we could ever do that would cause a divine being, incarnated or not, to not love us. That divine being would always understand that we are in this process of evolution and that it's our ignorance and our fear which causes us to behave in these ways. And we will always be loved. We are always loved by the divine beings. Now, let's move on to some of the concepts for getting free from these illusions. First of all, let's understand the concept of programming. You see this elephant here who is trying to move away from with a rope on his leg and a peg. But this elephant has been programmed from a child, a child elephant, a small elephant, that by putting a metal chain and a metallic spike in the earth, that elephant was not able to move. And the elephant becomes programmed that it cannot move. And then eventually they just put a rope and a wooden stake, and the elephant can't get away because the elephant is programmed. It believes, if you can have a belief, that it cannot move away. And this is true. So we have such programmings. We are programmed in our childhood years to feel less lovable, less acceptable, less worthy when others criticize us, when they're not satisfied with us, when our appearance is not what we would like it to be, when others do something better than us. These are all programmings. And as the elephant believes falsely that it cannot walk away, we believe falsely that we are